Here we are, 91.7 WLFR Pomona, Strange Ways Radio, and we have Rex Thurston from the band Litvar with us. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Good to have you. We've been playing your new album out here at WLFR. Interesting stuff, good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. Give us a little background first on your band, Litvar. How did you and your drummer Joe get together?
We met around a year ago. We were playing a show in separate bands. I was in a band called Eel People. Joe was in a band called Spray Bottle Fever, and we were both sort of like the lead singers of those bands. And we were just setting up gear in this venue and like somewhere in CT, and we just hit it off. It was like one of those things where you meet somebody and like sparks fly, and I'm making it sound a little romantic, but it was just like we met, and immediately our energy was just like, it was questionable how well we got along. And we exchanged, information, and later I got a message that Joe wanted to do a session for my solo music at his place. Because at the time, Joe was running this thing called Acid Cat sessions, where he would just invite bands and CT over to his place, and he'd record them on video and on, Logic on his DAW. So then he'd release these incredible, like really well edited video sessions. You can find them on YouTube, actually, Acid Cat sessions, if you want to check them out. And you'll find my session on there. So I came over to help him edit my session with him, and I just saw he had Snow Patrol and like Radiohead and like all these bands I loved on his iTunes. And I was like, get on the drums right now. Like, we have to jam. Like, I knew immediately if we have this same exact taste in music, we're probably going to communicate in the same way when jamming. And so we started playing. I hopped on guitar, he hopped on drums, and we immediately hit it off. We could just talk to each other with our instruments, and we knew we had to start writing music pretty much immediately. Immediately after that, Litvar became like a real band, and we started writing our first songs.
Nice. He's okay. And I want to make sure that we get his last name right. It is Joe.
Joe Lemieux.
Lemieux. That is what I thought. I wanted to give him the proper props here right now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've seen a couple of your official videos on YouTube also. He drums and you sing. Tell us about the other instrumentation on it. Who was doing that? I mean,
so when we were getting together some demos for the record, The Greatest Movie, when we finally kind of concept for things, I ended up it ended up making me go home sometimes and just making up these demos. And so a lot of what you're hearing in the background of the songs, the instrumentation that isn't guitar and drums, it is mostly like my work from the original recording of the song that's just sort of stayed and that got mixed when we finally went along with the song. Because we kind of like, a lot of people have a demo and then they re-record the song, but for us, we have the demo and then we just add on to the demo and mix it all together, and it has this really full sound for us, and it's just something we really liked to hear. So yeah, a lot of that extra stuff in there will usually be me or like a production choice that Joe made, later on. But it's mostly drum work from Joe and then a lot of like ambience and guitar work for me.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Where does the name Litvar come from. I read something about it, and it sounded interesting. I thought our listeners would like to know.
Absolutely. Litvar was like at first just like the name of this song I saw. It wasn't like laid out the way we have it as a band name, but it was I'm a big watcher of anime. I love Japanese cartoons. I just love the look and sound. I also love the soundtracks. And so often what I do is when I'm looking for inspiration, I dive into like anime soundtracks. My favorite composers are Joe Hisaishi and Kensuke Ushio. Kensuke Ushio I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but I think he made this song called Lit, and then he had a variation of that song called Lit and then Var. And I'm assuming var in parentheses means variation of lit. So we took them together. I took them together, and I said we should name the band Litvar, and we just thought it sounded cool. And then we had this running joke that it meant light and variation.
Nice.
Now I just say what really happened, because I think I was embarrassed at the time that I was like listening to anime music, but now I'm not embarrassed. I'm proud.
Also, you know what? First time I heard your name that far, it sounded like like an Eastern European name or something. I didn't know. I did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hey. Okay. I am guessing here. Is the anime influence the influence of the album name the greatest movie ever told?
Greatest movie of all time?
Of all time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Greatest movie of all time. I should have known better.
No, it's okay. It's a long title. Yeah, the name came from, the name was because we thought it was ironic, because it's like the story behind the record is like vaguely using this like idea that a guy, like this young kid in high school, is in a band, and he names the band Litvar, and he like falls in love with this like girl who's like way too old for him, and her name's Beverly, and that's from the Beverly Is Away song. And it's sort of based on real things that have happened to Joe and I, and we just put it into a character and kind of story. And so I've always sort of imagined the record would make sense as a like Studio Ghibli film, if you know what that. It's like yeah. So like I thought of it like that. But it's not like that big of a story. Like this, we're so used to stories like this, like a boy meets girl, this romance story thing. It's not that big a deal anymore. So we were like, what if we call it the greatest movie of all time, to just capitalize on that, how like ironic it is. It's like, it's clearly not. And it's also funny because we thought it would be funny if we called an album the greatest movie of all time. So it's sort of like playful, which is funny.
Right. And so it's okay. Your music does sound very modern, but okay. But it's also something of a throwback because it's kind of like a concept album.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, okay. Normally you might see the concept albums, albums that tell a story through the whole thing from a progressive rock band or something, really.
Well, that's of course.
Or like Alice Cooper does that a lot.
Yeah. I just love stories too.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do that. I never thought I would make it into a concept, but because we had that concept running so strong when we were in the studio, it helped us just churn out songs left and right. So we because you just want to add the next page. I mean, once you get like 60 pages in a book or something, the rest of the book kind of just, you know, kind of comes along in a domino effect because the story flows out of you like water, you know, just running water. So
Nice.
so that's, you know, what helped us write it. But I absolutely think that the inspiration to make it a concept record is most definitely from like any of my prog rock influence from when I was in high school and stuff. I really listened to a lot of, I mean, like The Who, Tommy, and, you know,
Great stuff.
yeah, it's classic, you know.
Yeah. 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 You know, okay. And from what I read about you, you even took it a step further and you posted online the supposed messages between Andy and Beverly.
Yeah. When we were trying to come up with promotional content, we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we like, you know, showed them the time frame that we're actually looking at? Because we were like, it's 2008. Like this album is set in a year, so it's set in 2008, and it's about AOL like aesthetics, and like the sounds from AOL are sampled all over the record. I mean, there's even like You've Got Mail, where we sampled a You've Got Mail sound. Joe, that was fun. Joe sampled the whole keyboard sound effects that AOL had for the 2008 like thing, and we just put it into like a keyboard, like we put it into like this thing, and then I would just like play them on it in like as though I was playing like percussion with it, and it was really fun. But yeah, we really went above and beyond with the promo stuff. We loved that side of things because we just loved the aesthetic of it. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I used to be an AOL guy too. I'm back in the day, and all those sounds will go like, oh, wait a minute, I know that.
Yeah. It kind of takes you like back, you know, like it's very nostalgic.
Nice. Okay, so hey, tell us about your songwriting style. Is it mainly you? Is it you and Joe together? Is it lyrics first, melody? What's the deal?
So you know, I think the songwriting process in general is like, for me, it's a few different things. But I mean, when we were making that record, it was a lot of like, you know, listening to our favorite artists and talking about like tone. Like we would have like tea at like 4 a.m. and just be like listening to like Snow Patrol, or, you know, like Arcade Fire, M83, the 1975, and a lot of like bands, of course, from 2008, like Dashboard Confessional, stuff like that, and just talking about like how they sang, what are they singing about, the tone of the guitar, the drums, and stuff like that. And then in the morning, like when we wake up, I would just like play some chords in a weird alternative tuning on the guitar and see what we come up with. But a lot of it's definitely like music and then lyrics for us. But you know, sometimes I have, you know, a list of like funny, maybe funny lyrics, or just like, whoa, that's sad. Just like a list of just stuff in my notebook or my phone. And then, you know, later, if I have a chord progression, I just look at those lyrics I wrote in my head earlier. And they're not, it's just a random list of just random things I thought of, you know. I think I had one the other day that was just like, I need a schedule. Just like as a lyric. I don't know if there's like funny things just to say that just, you know, maybe seem a little sarcastic or ironic or things like that. It helps you experiment, I think, more too.
Oh, sure. Okay. You are based out of Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the local music scene there now. Oh, and you know, I know how 2020 has been just awful, and things are beginning to bounce back around everywhere.
Yeah, it's obviously not the same, but you know, we're finding ways to play shows safely and getting maybe more members with us. Not necessarily to write with in the studio, because you know we feel sort of um, you know we feel good as we are as a duo when writing songs, but when we have shows to play, it helps when you have a few more members, help bring the sound a bit more life to it. So so as far as where like shows are at, it's sort of mostly like seeing what venues are around. Joe is very busy with this new venue that he's been sort of working with, and it's called Psych Shack, and they basically have started this like they made this stage out of like a parking lot. There's like a it's in between two buildings, and there's like this grassy big stage here, and then just down a little bit is the entire parking lot, and then there's a train track. So it's very very strange, but I mean it adds to it has an aesthetic.
Cool.
If you want to look at pictures of it or just like see it, it's at Psych Shack on Instagram, at Psych
Nice.
Shack T. So
I'm a cool name
that's sort
too.
of where yeah. So it's cool. You know, we're finding ways, and you know, if we don't see a path, it seems like one of us will just create one for ourselves.
Right, right. Okay. I think you said be, before. I'm not in the interview, but we were talking, and and you had formed just before the pandemic happened, and so okay, so you have okay, so you haven't been able to play much until recently. Um, when you do play, hey, is it just as a duo? How did they handle all the extra sounds? Um, uh, if you use them at all, that is.
Well, we've tried a few different things because, of course, Litvar before the pandemic has never performed because it didn't exist. So our first performance was we tried it out this way. Where just I had two amplifiers, and I was running my pedal board through a splitter that would just plug into a like bass cab, and then a guitar amplifier, and it kind of sounds insane. I mean, it's like I hadn't done that. I remember the first time I did that was in 2019, and I was just like, wow. I mean, it's big. It's very bassy guitar. You're getting a lot of low end, and then you're getting a lot of treble from the Vox. So that's sort of how we get the guitar sound to sound better as a duo, because at the moment our live performance is, you know, we're getting more members, but we haven't performed with more than just Joe and I. So when we performed just us, Joe on drums and me on guitar and vocals, was the first thing we tried. We ended up doing backing tracks for the next gig where I had nothing. I didn't play anything. I just had a microphone and Joe was on drums, and then we had the backing tracks kind of just come out of the big speakers. And that was like sort of the most fun we had performing, because I could really move around and stuff, and like dance and stuff. I'm not very good at dancing, but I will dance. So yeah, I've got two left feet.
All right, all right. Uh, okay. When you can get back to playing more, all right. Here's a question that I like to ask a lot of my guests. What would be your dream gig? Is the kind of show or venue or both that you would, okay, that would be on your bucket list?
Wow, that's a great question. I definitely think I have sort of one in particular. It's kind of a funny and like cute answer. I just really want to play like the State House it's in my or no it's in CT, uh and the name is escaping me. I think it is the State House. It's not even like a huge venue. It just sounds great and it's very small. And it's because I went there and I saw a friend of mine play and his band Queen Moo. And I just remember him playing at his release show there, and I just loved the venue so much. It was very small and just sweet. And there's a bar and merch and the stage is right there. The sound's great. And I know it's not like a huge venue or it's not that grand or anything. Yeah. But it's not very exciting answer. But yeah, my local venue, the State House.
Oh, that's nice too. Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right. On a related note, if you could share that stage with someone, whether it's playing with them, opening for them, who might that be?
Share the stage with like anybody
Whatever you like. Okay. Your heroes, your friends, whatever.
Oh, that is tough. I think that answer would change depending on like when you'd ask me, but I think right now I'd really love to play with Matty Healy from the 1975.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Tell me something about you personally. What was the first concert you ever been to?
I think it was, it must have been, yeah, College Street Hall, Broken Social Scene.
Oh, yeah.
They're incredible. It's a Canadian band. It's like 19 people in that band. They're great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we've played them at the station. Yeah, definitely. Nice.
Yeah,
good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any plans going forward? Okay. With with touring or another album later on or such.
Yeah, we definitely plan to release new music this summer. We're not sure, what form it's going to be. Like, it could be a few different songs that we're working on, and it could be, an album at some point. But there's definitely music coming very soon. And as for tour things, I'm not sure. I know we do plan to tour, but I'm not sure like exactly what time. What I can say is that it's not too long away. It's definitely on. It's very, there is in the near future shows to be played all around where our fans are. If we can, get to, most likely will be where our, the largest amount of fans of Litvar will be. That's, where we want to go, which is usually UK.
Oh, UK. You're gonna go to that. That's awesome. That'd be
at some point, yeah.
Be some oh yeah. Yes, and wow. Okay. Hey, all right. And any chance in the future, coming down a little further south, down the eastern seaboard around South Jersey or Philadelphia, around us?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely hope to get around, like definitely like a West Coast tour, and definitely like, yeah, I would love to play Philadelphia and anywhere. We want to just like tour the states, because we really want to. The show thing was the thing that we really were mostly excited for with Litvar. It wasn't really mostly the music. Obviously, the music is everything to us, but it's like we really, like, Joe and I are like totally just just addicted to shows. We would play shows all the time. As soon as we first met, there was like one weekend we just played 3 shows in a row. I mean, it's all we love. So we hope to play everywhere as soon as we can.
Nice. Yeah. All right. And it's just you and Joe. All right. Did you always plan on the project being being a duo? Were you inspired by other duos like the White Stripes and all, or what?
I actually don't think it
there
was
you are.
Yeah, I don't know if it was planned or not. I think it was just sort of like, it's just, it's always been hard for me to get a band. It's funny, this is probably interesting. I've only been in duos. I've been in 3 duos. I mean,
Really?
yeah, like I don't, I work in 2 like that. Because before Joe, I was in Eel People, which was just me and my friend Violet, and we haven't made much music with Eel People in a while. And then we moved, and then I have this other band called Auto Poet with a friend of mine, John Rule from Queen Moo, who I mentioned earlier.
Oh.
So Auto Poet is even more recent record that we recorded together, John and I. And that's sort of like a more like classic rock sound than Litvar, which is more like, I think, pop music. So it's it's not that I have like a liking towards just working with one other person. I think I've just only been able to get into duos because I think getting multiple people in one place at the same time is something I have not a lot of. I don't know how to like get that to happen. I don't know how to meet, like, I don't know a lot of musicians. I always say this, I have a very small social network of musicians around me because I live in Hebron. So it's just like a little far away from, it's always been, so I've always sort of felt far away from bands and not know where bands are. And whenever I find a band, they're already together. So I can't really like make them my band. So,
yeah.
Because I've always wanted to be a lead singer. I always wanted to sing in a band. I didn't want to play like guitar or drums or anything like that because I wanted to write songs and then have a band behind me. So instead of, looking for one when I was 16, I just started writing music on my own, and eventually I met the right people to do duos. But yeah, I guess, does that make sense?
Oh yeah, sure. I know a lot of band members these days find each other online also, but that's another option, of course. Okay. And you mentioned your other band being called Auto Poet. Of course, I couldn't help but notice one of your songs is Auto Poet. Tell us about that then. It's curious.
So John, when we were making the music for Auto Poet, we originally were going to call that band Chateau Evil. Isn't that gnarly? I think it's still awesome. Chateau
Cool, yeah.
Evil. And then there was another band name we had, 90s Fashion, just the number 90s and then Fashion, which was really cool. But we ended up choosing Auto Poet mainly because John thought it sounded great and also got the idea from my song Auto Poet. So
your song came first?
Yeah, the song came first.
Oh, okay.
So it came after the song in Litvar. Very fun.
All right then. I guess Auto Poet will we'll have to cover Litvar probably later.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, okay. How can people find you online?
You can find Litvar on Instagram at @wearelitvar. You can also go on our website, litvar.online. And
Litvar.online?
yeah, that's our website.
that's a new one that I haven't heard of. Wow. Okay. Dot online they got now.
Yeah.
.com, .net. Our station ourselves, right? WLFR. We are .fm. That fits also, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, but dot online. That's wow. Okay, that's funny. That's cool though. Okay, but Litvar dot online. Okay,
and then we're on Spotify, of course.
Very good, good, awesome. Okay, then, and excuse me, and we are going to leave room to play plenty of your music in this hour as well. I wish you the best of luck with everything. Hope it all goes well, and hope to see you one day soon in either in Atlantic City or Philadelphia. Okay.
It's so lovely to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you very much. Best of luck, and you're always welcome back. Also,
thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, but you take care now.
You take care. Bye.